now, it may not be perfect, but at least I ain't lying. But I did get all you cat lovers to wait one extra day for our Lyrans, our Leos, Yabu, or Hazam. And of course, you know who I'm talking about, the fabled Lyran starseeds. Now, the Lyrans actually have a sad history, and it's similar to other stories that we've heard. Because, like the aquatic Syrians, they weren't suited for their world. As it turns out, the Polarian beings from the North Star and the Andromedans from the Southern Star, these two sides, the Capricorn and the Cancer, were in battle for these middle galaxies, with throwing Leo in the mix. At the time, Polarians found large fighting machines, these cat species, and the Andromedans had Syrian water dragons. And both of these species would be battling for the right to take over the area known as the Leo constellation. Many star beings, including the nearby Polarians, tried to create genetically modified humanoid Lyrans as a warrior class / pet. And that's where the sad story of the Lyrans begin. Now, some of these people conceptualize something called a Liger, which is bred for its skills in magic. But they're trying to get the Lyrans more human-like, more sentient and self-aware. But because the Lyran is made up of all these ancient species, including the Arcturians, the Orions, the Andromedans, and even the Polarians, it becomes a super beast of ancient memory. The Lyrans seem to be imbued with some type of ancient knowledge that gives them the ability to conceptualize something called Lyran light language, which is translatable in any part of the galaxy. And soon the Lyrans are able to communicate across vast reaches of space using technology based on vibrational knowledge. They're able to tap into a frequency that can be translated in both the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere from either Lyrans or Draconians. And as so, in their early years, they become fierce mercenaries, working secretly all throughout the galaxy. And seeing as how they're self-aware, they're able to break free of the social construct and become like space pirates. But more like modern or futuristic space pirates. And while at first all the Lyrans are on an even keel, their relationships start to drift apart because some of the Lyrans that are bred are not genetically advanced. They're just basic cats. And so an extreme hierarchy persists amongst the Lyrans. Some of the less fortunate that are involved in the Syrian wars break off in little bits of soul family and become rogues. And within time, the ones that are more cat-like are given as gifts to other people, and so start depositing themselves on the planets across the galaxy. But no matter where they go, the Lyrans remember their ancient teachings. The more genetically advanced Lyrans start downloading more knowledge and information, and they start storing it in different artifacts. And when these Lyrans tap into a higher frequency, they're able to obtain non-local memory from somewhere else. And because of this, the Lyrans may be able to tap into the will of the higher beings. Many of the early Lyrans were subject to captivity, and selective breeding to this day is actually frowned upon with cats. And many of them were relegated to mere house pets by all the other species of the galaxy, even though they had higher knowledge than anyone else. And even some of the top scientists in the world have said that cats can heal you. And as it would be, all the selective breeding for many millennia would cause the ones that healed each other to live longer and outlive the rest. And most large cat species actually see in, I think it's like 25 different colors that even humans can't see. So they see the world through eyes that we can't even imagine. And it's one of the few, particularly matriarchal society of mammal species. Some of the first representations of an eternal cat goddess was codified in Egyptian inscriptions known as Bastet either, or Bastet's older sister, Sekhmet. Now, of the pantheon of the gods in Egypt, Sekhmet was said to be the tax collector. We see here a ram's head, which signifies business or market, and then we see here an angry worker or a shops person. And what's happening is Sekhmet is standing behind the business person saying that this person owes me tax money. And so she's come to collect the tax money. Now, according to the Egyptian Book of the Dead, Sekhmet would get a little too big for her britches, and she wanted to take over and become the pharaoh because she started to get wealthy being a tax collector. Eventually, she plans to cut ties with Egypt and run away with all their gold and all their children. Now, Sekhmet, the essential tax collector or steward of the court, she decides that she's going to stick up for her little sister, Bastet, and rescue them from Egypt, because she's getting really tired of making everyone pay dues to the pharaoh and having to stand by and watch. And we see this archetype played out in the movie The Hunger Games when the older sister sticks up for the younger sister. Because Sekhmet realizes that the young girls that don't have money to pay homage to the pharaoh might end up becoming like Bastet, who's a pharaoh's concubine. And this becomes one of the first notable moments in history where an older woman takes care of a younger woman. We see the same similar mother motif played out in Wiccan spirits. In South America, they call her La Mujer, or the mother. Spirit is similar in that it's the queen mother taking care of the younger sister. And we're getting really Little House on the Prairie coded here. So I want you to remember that the Lyrans were a slave race at first. And really it all came down to who could be taxed. At first they said that the Lion of Judah rescued everyone from Egypt. But then it said that the Persian lion took over Egypt with the Persians. Traditional Arabic cultures, you may not notice the parallels, but Abu actually means father king or lion king. And so each of the Arabic characters has a prospective fighting cat on their side. This is where the symbolism of a unicorn and a lion on family seals comes from, is the lion acts as the tax collector and the unicorn acts like royalty. And lion says, I'm only going to give you part of my lion's share if you're worthy of having the crown. So essentially, since the earliest Egyptian days, we've been battling our Bastet against their Sekhmet. And that's what determined if you were royalty or not, if you could protect your stewards. And you can see that even the shape of the constellation Leo is the same as the Egyptian word for Bastet or Sekhmet. The reason we don't see Lyrans anymore manifested is for two reasons. One is the Draconians are trying to kill off all the Lyrans, and the Arcturians don't approve of genetically modified species. And so, except for fictional stories where we see beast species used as a warrior slave labor, the Lyran species only exists in spirit, sadly enough. But they've left us great gifts like being able to be healed by your cat purring, and Lyran light language, which is used to decode draconian messages. Now, if you're more interested in the history of Lyrans and Lyran light language, I'd recommend any of these books by a speaker named Elmine. The stuff some people come up with is just hilarious. Anyway, good luck to you all in all your fortunes. So anyway, if you like what you see here and you want a free Starseed reading, go ahead and throw me a message in my message box or a DM. I'll see what I could do. Anyway, my name's Abamuahu Kalunas. Enjoy the truth.